All right. It says we are live. All right. Welcome everybody to AmeriCanaries podcast. Marquise, I screwed the name. AmeriCanaries podcast number 7.
I made
The
it too
Thanksgiving
difficult.
special. And speaking of special, we have another special guest. We have joining Mark and myself tonight is Jackie Tompkinson, who is the mom of Jonathan Tompkinson, who is the captain of the under-23s. And Jackie's coming to us live from somewhere in Texas, correct?
Yep, Plano, Texas.
Plano, Texas. And Mark is coming from...
Same old Fort Worth, same as always.
Same old Fort Worth. I'm coming to you from Columbia, Maryland. So this is our special Thanksgiving edition, and we're very pleased to have Jackie join us. As you know, in the past, we've had people from David from Toronto joined us. Matt joined us from Southern California. We had Lucas, our Brazilian canary friend, join us last week. That was a lot of fun. And now we have a mom of an actual player, which is kind of neat. And she is wearing the Coral Away kit. I'm wearing a... Yeah.
Look at that Lotus.
Yeah. It's very nice. I do not have any of the new stuff yet. I'm wearing the cap. I notice people don't really wear ball caps over there when they attend the games.
No, you wear a woolly hat.
Yeah, that's not a thing. So yeah, so I'm wearing that, and I have my my zip up hoodie, which when I was on the fan zone, the host called it a jumper. I'm like, yeah, it's not a jumper. Yeah, not a jumper.
Jumper's a sweater, not a hoodie.
Yeah, but he's also the guy that called me a sexy man. So I'll let that slide.
Why?
Yeah.
Who was this?
Will Perry, when I was on Fan Zone, I was talking about Frank Lampard, that Frank Lampard would be a sexy choice. And then when my session ended, he's like, and Ken's a sexy man. I was like, okay, that was unexpected. So my wife and mom were like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, moving up in the world.
So you went to the California one this year?
No, this is
the Fan Zone.
This is filmed at the Premier League Studios in, I guess, London, Premier League Studios. So they reach out to people all around the world to join the program. It's an hour-long program. Okay. So it's not like the Premier League mornings. It's called the Fan Zone. So they do it, every day for an hour, and they film it at various different times. And I think I've been on that 5 times.
Wow.
Which is, I was on twice last week, which was kind of interesting. And actually, I honestly thought they were going to invite me to be on today's show, but I never got, an email or anything. So
Becoming a habit.
Huh?
Yeah.
A
habit.
I mean, yeah.
He's going to be on there as a pundit next.
People say you should get paid. So they send a link, and then you go on. I have to do Zoom because everyone else is Skype. I'm actually using a work issued computer. So Zoom is supported and Skype is not. So they went off from Skype and went to Zoom. So they send me a Zoom link, because I told them, says I can't do it yet. I can do Zoom, can't. It's okay. That works. And then the producer talks to you, then they bring you on. Then all of a sudden you're on the screen. So last Monday I was on the screen with Darren Eady. So I was like, okay. So that was, kind of, he talked for a while, and then I came on. I was like, oh, this is kind of nice. Because, he's obviously a very well-known former player, and he's an analyst and commentator and stuff like that. So it was
awesome.
Kind of interesting. So before we get into, talking about the match, which of course was great, having a win,
well, 2 weeks in a row.
Huh?
You got 2 weeks in a row. You got to win.
2 in a row with the 2-1 wins, and there's a lot of energy, a lot of interesting things going on. When the squad came out, I tend to think all of Norwich Twitter is like, yes, Cantwell and Gilmore, finally. Everyone had the same reaction. And then Todd struggled in the first half. I don't know what was. He's not totally fit, and some people thought that he. Someone said he looked disinterested. I don't think he was disinterested. I just think he just couldn't get into the flow.
Yeah, I don't think disinterested is the right word either. I thought he got pushed off the ball way too easy, and then once that happened, he wasn't getting after it.
Mm-hmm.
We saw, obviously, without getting too far ahead in how the game went, we saw two completely different squads, and between the first half and the second half, and he was evidence of that first half of, just give up possession way too easily, and then not fight to get it back, and that totally changed in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Could that be a result of him being down with the U23s? You're talking about two different levels of playing, U23 versus the first team. The opposition he's coming up against down in the U23s, he's got time to be on the ball, but when you go back up there with the big dogs.
Yeah, but
for me,
they're shutting you down quicker.
Right. Yeah. They will shut you down quicker, but my thing is he played a season in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Already. This isn't new to him. So, those footsteps are coming and he knows it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a difference between, hey, you had 2 really good days of training, let's put him in the squad. We've seen what he can bring. He looks like he earns, let's put him out there.
Do you think the guy did it just to kind of hush the crowd? I mean, the fans to just say, all right, y'all are screaming you won't camp. Well, let me put him out here.
No. I think he earned his way. I think he really, it's like, oh, you're back. Great. Clean slate. Go out there. See what you can do. I think he earned his way in training. I saw like a little bit of the video and Dean Smith seemed to be impressed. But having 2 days of training is a lot different than having 10 weeks
of
training. And Todd is not the bulkiest guy out there. He's very thin. He definitely needs to spend a little more time in the weight room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because of that, he gets pushed around a lot, which is interesting. But Jack Grealish was fouled a lot when he was at Villa, and Jack Grealish looks like he spends more time in a weight room.
He still gets fouled a lot. He gets knocked down, but he's your foul taker, man.
He still gets fouled a lot, but he seems, a larger individual, someone that's not as slight.
Aaron gets knocked down quite a bit. Aaron's,
yeah,
he gets knocked down. For a defensive player, he's running up and he's always getting pushed to the ground.
He's not very tall. What is he? 5'8"?
No. Yeah, he's a small.
Yeah, but he's not very thick either.
Right.
Yeah.
True. He's getting a little bit bigger. So, they switched the formation. In addition to bringing Josh Sargent out, they switched the formation. So it was instead of 4-2-3-1, they basically went 4-1-4-1. Is what they did.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. That's what they did. So they had Norman back there as like your CDM, and then they had everybody sort of, going up and decided to push. Now, one thing I heard Dean Smith say, and hopefully it's like, we were attacking the sixes. The sixes are what? Please help me with that.
I need to know this because I'm going to be coaching this spring. Which side is that? I want to say that's Rashika's side. So you would have been attacking. If you're on defense, that would be the right side, isn't it? That's that right.
He said the sixes. Sixes, as if it was either the midfielders.
Yeah, I think it's a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's the left defensive mid.
Mm-hmm. So Dean Smith mentioned they were attacking that, and then they were a little more aggressive.
Somebody's going to come on and tell me I'm completely wrong on that, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But
and then Josh came out and really, that was one of his best performances. A lot of energy, and Josh is bigger, he's stronger, and really had a really nice impact on the game, especially if it's like, okay, give me all you got for 45 minutes. He knew what was in there, but I knew that Cantwell was going to be subbed at halftime. I didn't pick up that the formation had changed for a while. I didn't know really what was going on. I just knew that it looked like he was having a leg issue, so I wasn't surprised when he was subbed out because it looked like he was struggling. Yeah, but they were able to do it. Got the well-deserved, well-earned win. Now they're no longer bottom, which is nice.
Okay. Are they still in relegation zone now?
Yeah.
Just not the last one.
Yeah, right. 8 points. I think Leeds are on 11 or something like that. But even if Leeds got nothing and Norwich won their next game, they still would be in 18th spot because of goal differential.
Yeah,
the goal differential is not going to help them at all this year. It's going to have to be strictly on.
It rarely does.
Yeah, but we'll see if somehow it approaches 0. That'd be phenomenal. That'd be fun. So it's very nice. So, there's a lot of excitement, anticipation. People are like, "Wow, manager made change at halftime. That's pretty interesting. We haven't seen that for a while." And they thought and there was some bizarre stat that they hadn't won from a behind position in the Premier League in like forever.
Yeah, I remember that one coming across the screen.
Probably since like when Lambert was there or something.
I think we did it in 2016 once.
Okay.
So
it was like forever because for a while it's like, oh great, they gave up the first goal. Forget it, they're not going to win. When I first started following the team, they would come back all the time. They had the ability to come back. Okay, you're down 1 goal. Okay, now it's like okay, whatever, we're struggling, and then they would never come back. Some of the better sides, the ones in the top 6, they scored a goal. That's fine. We'll score 4. Against them or something like that. Yeah. So the other teams, it's like Liverpool and Chelsea. Yeah, whatever. Don't worry about it. We got plenty more goals. And us Norwich is like, oh God, we're down. So when that first goal went, I'm like, oh no, this isn't good.
Did you say, oh no, it wasn't the coach after all?
I didn't.
Well, I mean, it's.
I sighed heavily myself.
Yeah.
But.
You're like, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I mean, they just always seem to be not as aggressive or hungry on the attack is what I've been witnessing during this season for them. It's like, my goodness, and I know you can't compare them to Liverpool or Man City or somebody, but
right.
Those guys are, it's like you've opened up the hornet's nest. They're swarming at the basket. When somebody's coming to score, it's like, you better believe there's 3 follow-throughs on it if they miss. And we seem to go up and like, I'm going to take my best shot. And then it's like, oh, darn it, I missed. And then there's nobody there to kind of chase it or kind of keep it alive. It's like they take the shot and the other player gets it and just the other players just run back real fast at you. And they're kind of, oh, wait a minute, they're coming. It's like, and, so I don't know if this new coach will be able to get them more hungry, more aggressive at the front than what they were doing, And if he does manage to do it, I'd love to know what he does to get them to be that way.
True. Yeah, that's an excellent point because they would take a shot and then no one would be following it for a rebound.
No, not at all. It's it's like watching basketball and no one ever rebound. It's like the people shoot the 3 and they turn their back like not even knowing it's going in. It's like, oh well, missed that. Let's go back.
Time to get back. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Exactly. It's like, oh, I'm going to shoot a 3. Well, none of our guys are anywhere near
nobody's there to support you.
No one's in the paint. So if you miss, okay, as opposed to, I hate when it happens. But
we've also struggled in a sense that we don't shoot a lot. I mean, when you look at stats after a game, like, Dave and I will watch a game after the Norwich game or something, and you're like, look at the stats in this game. These people fouled this many times. Like Norwich might have fouled 3 times. It's like, make your presence known. Don't foul to get the card, but stop that fast breakdown before it gets there. So go ahead and put the push in there, so they have to stop and do a free kick, and y'all get a chance to get down the pitch. But we're too nice, and I don't know if it's the right term to use, but they got to thug it up a bit. It's just not.
That's a T-shirt now.
Is it? Thug it up.
No, they got to thug it up a little bit. There we go. They got to. I know they have to be tougher.
Do you know what I mean? They are just a very. When I think about the players on the team, everybody on there, I just think, oh, he's such a nice lad.
Right.
Not he's a beast, or I wouldn't want to come up against him in the back. Now, Kabat, is that his name?
The one.
Yeah. Now, he looks like he could thug it up, but his timing is always bad. He fouls at the most inopportune moment and then gets a card, and then they're getting a free kick in the wrong spot, and it's a goal.
Right. Yeah, Darren Eady actually mentioned that, because I talked a little bit about that Kabak. He's like, well, so that's Kabak's problem. He's a defender. He needs to defend first, and he wants to attack first.
Yeah.
And when he wants to attack first, then he opens up, the team, the counterattacks and other things. So he says, okay, he's got a lot of potential and skill, but he's not he has to defend.
Yeah.
He has to defend and not go on the attack. It's like, okay, it's great. Okay, you won that great long run. Okay, you didn't get anything about it. You surprised everybody. But then what was the next game? One of his errant passes resulted in a goal. He was at fault for something like that. So it was interesting hearing someone who actually played the game, say that, which was very interesting. But it's nice that they won. They showed a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, because the first half, I'm like, oh God, they're just holding on right now. They got that first goal, and then they were just playing defense the whole time.
No more attacking.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, heck with this. We're not going to do is we're going to go out. We're going to attack. And they were the far better team in the second half. And I knew a goal was coming. I had no idea it was going to be a header. But you're going to get something here. I kept expecting that something was going to happen in their favor. And it did.
Yeah.
It was certainly.
Yeah. Speaking to the point about, we don't shoot a lot and we're not that aggressive, our expected goals are obviously last in the league. I mean, we've got 7 goals actual.
Across how many games?
That's 12, 7 and 12. And I think the next least amount it looks like 11 from Southampton and Spurs. But our expected goals is still about 3 beneath anybody else. We're at 9.32 goals expected. So
for the season?
Yeah. That's just how few opportunities we've actually had.
Yeah.
And we've converted on less than that. I mean, your better teams, like Chelsea right now, they're like 5. They've scored 5.7 more goals than they're expected based on their opportunities. That just speaks to their skill. They make the most of their opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah.
They make the most of their opportunities.
Yeah. One thing I noticed that they showed training was kind of funny. People were like, oh my God, there's video of training. We never saw this so far. Never saw training. Of course he was. He just didn't have a lot of video being shown. They were working a lot on the first touches. And that seems to be a weakness that the team has, is they get the ball and then they don't just turn and do something. Oh, I got to dribble, make sure I'm in the right position. Then by that time, their open shot is gone.
Yep.
So
trying to line it up too much, trying to tee it up. It's like, man, take that shot. There's nobody in your path.
Right.
And worst case scenario, it's going to ricochet off somebody's hip, hit somebody, and another of your teammates can put it in or head it in. Like, we just do not shoot enough.
Right, donut shoot. And Pookie got a little better the past couple games where he would just, shoot, and sometimes it wouldn't go in. The announcers, what was it? F and a Coco. Oh my god! Because
No. So my witness. What's F in the cocoa?
F and a Coco is he's on the
He's on the Peacock
broadcast, Peacock or NBCSN or whatever. He seems like he's constantly the the analyst or the commentator, not the play-by-play guy. And he played for Norwich as like a striker, Mark.
Yeah, he was up front somewhere.
He is such the perfectionist all the time. If somebody does something, it's like, oh, they should have done better.
Yeah, he's harsh on forwards.
Whenever, but someone gets a touch, that they're going to perfectly put it where it should be.
We know that's not how it works.
Right.
It's lucky and it's glorious when somebody puts in that perfect ball and the timing of the runner meets it.
There you go. Tell F and a Coco that.
Yeah, I thought you were saying a swear word. I thought you were saying like F in the cocoa. And I was gonna say, is that like screw the pooch? I didn't know what you were saying.
No. He's I'm trying. This is a family program. I'm trying not to curse.
We've dropped a few here and there, but not too many.
No. So he's like always, with the header. Oh, he could have done better.
Was he the perfect player himself?
No.
What position was he?
A striker.
He was up front.
Yeah, forward. Yeah. So, but it's so annoying. It's like, oh God, he's on the call again.
We keep getting him.
So it's almost as if because as a former player, I don't know. I don't listen to other teams playing. I don't know if he's doing the call. Mm-hmm. He seems overly critical. It's almost as if, I played for the team. I can be overly critical of what I expect out of them.
If he was Maradona, or if he was, who is it that came back to Man U? Come on, Ronaldo. Now, Ronaldo, if he becomes a pundit, he can criticize the hell out of everybody because he knows what he's doing. It's almost like he invented goal scoring. Right. So if he's a pundit on there, absolutely.
I can't imagine. Yeah. I personally like Ronaldo a lot. He's in phenomenal shape. He seems to be very charitable. Yeah. He's when the kids come out, he seems to be very giving with his time and whatever. He also, it's interesting. One, he's in freaking phenomenal shape.
Oh,
two, he always wears long sleeves, and I thought originally it was like he always wears long sleeves.
He don't want any scars. He's a model. He can't be coming out scruffed up.
He always wears long sleeves. So I thought, he's covering tattoos. No, he
ain't tatted.
He has no tattoos, no piercing, but he's always wearing long sleeve. Always.
It's cold.
That's his.
It's cold over there.
But that's a good point. He doesn't want anything. Yeah, but I think Ronaldo's just a phenomenal player.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder how disappointed he must be, because when he first came back, he was scoring machine and they were winning.
Right.
Now they're getting the pants beat off of them. What's happening? They got whooped by Watford this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was the end of Ole. So.
Yeah, I got the text from Jonathan. He WhatsApped me, Ole out. And then our younger son, it was on the family chat. Our younger son was like, what even does this mean? Because he doesn't follow football. I was like, Man U's coach just got fired.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, speaking of family, so Jackie, can you tell us a little bit about
how
Jonathan developed? Yeah, because I said we're going to how he developed, how he eventually got to this point where he's under 23s, and we're talking to you on the AmeriCanaries.
Look, I'm going to give me and my husband some props. He came from good athletic stock. My husband is a triathlete, or used to do triathlons, and quite competitively. Mm-hmm. And I played college basketball and ran track. So
where'd you play?
I played in North Texas. So I did 1 year basketball, and then I ended up running track.
But Texas Mean Green?
Yeah, that Mean Green Eagles.
The Mean Green.
Yep. I was second in the conference in the cross country.
Wow.
And then I took up playing. I moved to England in 96 with work. And so they only had like a men's basketball program. So I played with the men, and they had a men's traveling volleyball team. I played with the men, and they were setting me because I'm aggressive. I'm mean. So, but then they had, our company used to do a World Cup because Nortel, we were in telecoms. They had offices all over the world. So they hosted this cup every year for all the men. And I'm like, why aren't the women playing? And they were like, I don't know. Women don't do, women didn't play soccer at that time over in England. And I'm like, whatever the men do in America, the women do.
Right.
So I got the women's program started.
There you go.
Started out with 4 teams the first year. The next year we had 12 teams. And then the year I moved back to Texas, we hosted it here. The company was laying off and going downhill. I hit up all the VPs because they weren't going to have the World Cup. I hit up all the big wigs in the company and got sponsors, and we put that dadgum tournament on ourselves. And we had 23 women's teams that year. That was the last time it was played. And then, we always had like 60-something men's team. It was amazing. But no, so that was where my interest got into it. And then, of course, so when we had the kids in Texas, the first thing your kid can play is at the age of 3, unless you got your kid doing dance or something, but they can play baseball or t-ball.
Right.
I know absolutely not. I mean, I know how the game is played, but I know nothing about baseball. So when you become a parent, that's when you become wise and you hear about pedophiles and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I was like, my kid ain't getting molested. Whatever he's playing, I'm coaching. So that's how that started. So I started off coaching t-ball, enlisted a lot of dads to help out. And so he did 1 year of that. And then the next season he was old enough to do the soccer, and he never looked back. Soccer became his thing. So I coached him for 3 years with the soccer and handed him off to my husband. And then my husband coached him all the way up till he was 10 before we rolled him over to the club program. Because at that point we just thought, well, he's beyond the level of us teaching him. So went into the club system, started off with TFC, Texas Football Club, or Texans, I think they were called. And these clubs here, they kind of come and go. Some last forever, like FC Dallas, if they've got a good model running. The other ones are kind of set up by just individuals that decide they want to set up a club. And you got to make sure you got trustworthy people in there to run the books. Otherwise, people run off with the money.
Right.
So, no, so he went from Texans to FC Dallas to Solar. And Solar is where he finished up, and that's where he became the man. He was playing. He was always a center midfielder, center mid. And then their center back got hurt, and one of the players was like, "Can JT play back here with us?" And you're like, "Yeah, sure." So he went back there and became a center back, but he can play either or. And so he center backed it up. We had a tournament in Ireland one year because he used to go over in the summers with some of the other club teams. He'd go guest play with them. They had a tournament in Ireland. He got interviewed by the BBC. It was hilarious when they were on one of their training breaks. It's like the camera likes to follow him. But while he was waiting to go play in the tournament, my husband, stopped by Ipswich and said, "Hey, my son's got a tournament in Ireland. Can he practice with your lot, for a few days before we go, just so he can stay fresh?" And so they got interested in him. And then when he came back, so that was where the Ipswich thing came back. And then somebody else, he was playing in some friendlies in the summer with him. And West Brom gave him up, told him like they'd like to see him try out. So, he had to get back for school. And then he went back at Thanksgiving and he tried out with Ipswich. But by then, the guy that was interested had left and went to Norwich. So they didn't know. The ones that were there when he came back in the winter, they didn't know him. And they thought, he's okay, but he needs to work on this, and this. And he went to West Brom, and same thing. They were like, he's tall, but he needs to gain weight, and he needs to work on this, and this. And we're like, okay. So he was kind of gutted, but it was a good tryout because he learned that he had work to do. You know, he might have been the bee's knees over here in America, but over there, you got work to do.
Right.
So he came back and worked on everything they told him to work on, and then went back the next summer. And the guy that had been at Ipswich said, "Oh, I'm at Norwich now. I remember Jonathan. Bring him along." So he took him up there, and they already had enough center backs, but he was like, "Nope, bring him anyway. Try it out," and they picked him. So he made the squad, and that summer we were moving him over. He lived with a host family the first year, and there was 3 other players that lived with him. Actually, Ben Godfrey came from that same house.
There you go.
They've had a number of players that they hosted that have all made it to first teams.
There you go.
So we were like, "You're in the luck house. You know, you're going to get there." But no, so after he left them, when you're 18, they put you in the apartments. So he was rooming with Big Andy. He and Big Andy roomed together. So he got to learn some things from Big Andy. And then next thing you know, Big Andy's playing for his Irish national team. And then he's in the first team squad. And we're like, "Ooh, you're getting closer." It's like being related, to 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon.
Right.
He's got that relation with
There you go. Yeah, sure.
Big Andy. So yeah. So then this summer came around, with the pandemic. Jonathan came home in the summer and he got both of his vaccinations. All right. When he got back to England, they were just now doing vaccinations for the younger population.
Mhm.
And certainly they opened England back up, and a lot of them caught the COVID. And Jonathan, when they all were like, "We're going out," Jonathan's like, I'm not going. He and his roommate didn't go. And so they were one of like 3 or 4 of the kids that didn't get it. Everybody else got it, or they were roommates with somebody that had it, so they couldn't come to practice. So Jonathan had to practice with the ones that were going out on loan. Still not enough of them really to have a practice. So they ended up practicing with the first team. And then you had first team people with the COVID or that were injured. So he ended up getting to play several games with the first team this summer.
There you go.
All the friendlies they were in. And we thought, oh, he'll be on the bench. He'll get about 5 or 10 minutes. But no, he was playing 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So it was, awesome for us as parents, because we were like, oh, they actually know who he is. He's not just somebody in the youth program,
Yeah, I got the impression that how they've set up the club now, that it's really like the feeder system. They want the
it is
to develop and percolate up. And Farka obviously was playing the youth. Well, they won with they had Lewis, Aarons, and Godfrey in the back line. That's like, hey, you young kids, come help me out. It's almost like what is like old war movies, and someone goes out there and there's a battle and people get killed. Okay, you're lieutenant now. I'm lieutenant. Yeah, I just promoted you. Now you're lieutenant. It's like one of those things. It's like, hey, you young kid, you did well. Great, you're in the squad. You did great. Okay,
Yeah, I think they do a great thing with that youth program. I mean, he learned a lot when he was with the U18s or U19s when he started, and then he quickly moved into the U23s, and now he's captain of it. But they teach them a lot. It's not just long ball or just, it's very organized, structured play.
Does Norwich have any more cup matches, or are they out? I don't even know. Mark,
on academy or on
the first team? Are they out?
We haven't started FA Cup yet.
All right. Yeah, FA Cup or League Cup. Are they out of the League Cup?
I think we're done with League Cup, but FA Cup we haven't even started yet.
Yeah.
So it's be interesting to see what Dean Smith does. I would tend to think that as opposed to some other clubs. Yeah, didn't they lose the Liverpool's?
They did. Liverpool had all their toddlers out there and had maybe three first team players, and they had all their toddlers out there, and the toddlers kind of had their way.
Yeah, that definitely would be like I don't know, a mini Turkey there. That's sort of
no
game.
But no, I know who my turkey is. So.
I know who my turkey is. I bet we're gonna. If we say it at the same time, I'm going to see if we're there. We're not there yet. Don't say it.
Well, it could be. It can be anything, but
It's a turkey. It's a mulligan.
yeah. We're hinting because it's a Thanksgiving special. I have Thanksgiving questions we're going to answer. Thanksgiving themed questions we're going to answer about the team. So, but it seems like he is, the club wants the youth to come up and play. So
they really do.
Be curious if, let's say, the FA Cup draw is against a team, in like Conference North or something. Your son might get into the squad. They might put out a very youth-oriented squad.
Yeah.
And go for it. However, with Dean Smith coming in new, I'm not sure he's going to do that. I think it's we want to win. We're going to put out our best team. We're going to win because
I don't know, but is it more important to win that cup game or to improve your standing in the Premier League?
Premier League, yeah.
You could put them in that cup, and then it's going to wear those players out, and they got a game next week in the Premier League, and they're going to get their pants whipped. So he's got to be. You got to weigh that. Which one's more important, that cup or that Premier League standing?
Yeah, it depends. I ever since I've been following it, it's always okay. We really want to survive, so we're not really putting a whole lot of effort into the cup matches. We'll put guys out there, and if we win, we win. If we lose, we lose.
And that's how we, as a Premier League team, lost to a then non-league Luton Town.
Yeah.
Oh God, I remember that. Jeez, the Luton Town. Oh, that was Chris Hughton.
What, in a cup game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chris Hughton, wasn't Hughton the manager then?
I think this was Alex Neil's one season up.
Okay, for some reason I think it was Hughton.
It might have been Houghton's last year.
Yeah, I remember. Like, you've lost to Luton. Now Luton they're in the championship, right? Isn't Luton in the championship?
Yeah, and they have.
And they did well last year. They were close to the playoff spot last year.
They've been building up. I actually, when I got interviewed for the program last year, I talked about this game being one of the most frustrating because they were a good squad. They had a lot to play for. They were non-league, but they were clearly in the conference head and shoulders above everybody else and were coming back. They were a team that had gone through all their financial crises and have been working their way back, and you can see where they are. They're up in the championship now. And they weren't the Luton, the non-league, team that everybody thought they were. They were a team with history and ability and had been in the top division at one point in time. And there was talent there, and we didn't put much of a squad out, as I recall. And I think it was a 1-0 loss, your typical Chris Hughton kind of loss.
It was,
and we got shellacked by the pundits for it.
So, Ken, to your point, I think he would have some of his bench players from the first team at least in a cup game and maybe pull up some of the strongest from the U23s. Yeah. Right. You could handpick 3-4 kids from down there that would probably be just about good enough to compete in a cup game. But no, you wouldn't go out. I just don't. I wouldn't think it'd be worth it, especially in the first round, to put all of his studs, all of his starters from the first team in a cup game. That just, what's a game? I mean, from what it's been explained to me, like you get a club like Liverpool, and they do not take all their big. They will have 3 or 4. Like, who was that? Oh, he was another mean-ho. Like, it wasn't the main one.
Suarez.
No. For Liverpool, they've got Firmino, right?
Oh, Firmino. Yeah.
But that wasn't who they had. They had another guy, but he had the same kind of last name.
Oh.
And he was just as good as Firmino. I hadn't heard of him before, but he was just as good. No. And he scored 2 goals, didn't he, in that thrashing?
Yeah.
That was bad.
No, you said mean. I was keening on the mean, and I'm thinking Liverpool. Oh, that's Suarez.
No.
No.
No. So I could see they would pull a couple of them up, and I would, fingers crossed, hope they pull my boy up.
As I'm saying, as the captain of the under-23, you would tend to think that he has a decent shot of being part of a cup squad.
Yep. And he's played every minute of every game except for these last 3 weeks. You know, he had a inguinal hernia, so he had surgery 3 weeks ago. But he played 90 minutes yesterday. He's already back.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, because Mark said it was like, oh, he's only under 23, so he might be with the squad. Then like 2 minutes later, oh no, I talked to his mom and he had surgery or something like that. You know?
Yeah, he had some
like,
yeah.
It was minor.
Yeah, it was minor because he was back actually running the following week.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got him playing. It was rumored he was going to be playing Friday and Sunday. And he's like, God, I hope I'm only playing one. I'm not sure I could do two because, you know, you got to get your fitness back. So he played the whole 90 yesterday and did fine. But he said when this thing was hurting him, he didn't notice it when they were playing one game a week, but it came up on a season where they were playing 2 games a week.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept feeling like it was he said it was affecting him kicking the ball long. And so they did MRIs and went, oh yeah, you got a hernia.
That's not good.
But yeah, so no, he's back in business now. He's back out there.
Good. Now, to prepare myself for this, I actually found some videos that he was interviewed. There was like one, it was like called the Lad Cast or something.
Oh, yeah.
Some guy with a Swansea shirt. That was slightly hard to listen to because that kid had some interesting pronunciations of words.
I'm not sure where that kid is from, but
I don't know where
everybody.
He's from. Yeah, I don't know where he had a Swansea shirt on. So I saw, okay, that's interesting. And then there was 2 interviews. It was just YouTube. There was like 2 matches. One was against Villa, and one was something where your son was interviewed. I definitely noticed that is not totally an American accent that he has.
No. So when we lived there before, when the kids were little, within 6 months, you wouldn't even know they were American. They were 100% British accent. They were, Mommy. And I'm like, oh, good Lord, what's happened? But no, so he's been back now, you know, a little over 2 years. So yeah, from birth, he had a Texas strong twangy accent, but ever since he lived there the first time, it's gone just kind of dormant. But now that he's back over there, he sounds more British than American, or he sounds a little twisted.
Yeah, there's certain words, you know,
colloquialisms and words and phrases. Yeah,
words and phrases, but certain words, I'm like, oh, that definitely has, you know, the British accent. I mean, I can do a variety of accents and voices. I remember when I was up in Toronto one time for like 5 days, it sounded like a Canadian for, you know, like a week after that. I had some very interesting pronunciations. I was like, man, why am I talking? You know, it took me a while to all of a sudden it disappear, you know, or it was like, hello, it's like, you know, or
if you really want to put one on, if they were imitating someone British, they can do a spot on British accent. Either one of my boys can, and you just like, holy moly, you know.
What I find interesting, a couple of years ago, there was a video maybe a couple of videos where someone in a period of 10 minutes did all the regional accents. And it's just, it's amazing, you know, because.
Was it Trevor Noah? I've seen one of his stand-ups where he does a whole bunch.
It wasn't Trevor Noah. I don't know. It wasn't a stand-up. It was someone that recorded. So I said, okay, I'm going to, I'm going to be this accent, you know, whatever, this area. And he kept, it just varied. It was amazing. It says, wow, it's a smaller country than the U.S., but the regional differences are so, you know, shocking. You know, the accent that we all know is a British accent. It's like Cockney, you know, the gecko. Yeah, the gecko. Yeah, the Cockney accent. And
well, you haven't heard the Suffolk accent, have you? Where my husband's from. So Dave has a nice little what I call posh accent because he went off to college in Surrey and he worked in the city, and so he doesn't sound like a little country boy. But the first time I met, now his parents very proper English speaking.
Mm-hmm.
The sister, the brother-in-law, the little nieces. I'm just looking at them trying to read lips, like, what the hell are they saying? Because that Suffolk accent, you're just going, you're looking like, I know they're speaking English, but what did she say? What is she talking about?
Yeah,
It's
I think Josh Sargent said something. It's like, well, I know they're speaking English, but I have no idea what these Irish and Scottish guys are saying.
now that's depends on what part of Ireland they're from. Got several Irish friends, and I've got like a friend from Middlesbrough. I have to ask him to repeat himself all the time because that's that up north accent.
It was funny, just like, well, they're speaking English, but I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember when I first started following Norwich, and Paul Lambert was the manager. I had no idea what he was saying.
You beat me to it.
Like, what are you? It's like, I know you're speaking English. I don't have a clue what you're saying.
Yeah, his post game interviews, I would have to back it up fast, rewind it, let's do it again, rewind it, let's do it again.
Closed captions, maybe that'll help.
Closed captions sucked.
Oh yeah, closed caption is like I'm doing the closed caption when it's something that's live. Sometimes it's hysterical.
Yeah,
what shows up. It's really quite funny. What shows up. What it is. Like I just watched Tick Tick Boom, the new Lin-Manuel movie about the guy who created Rent. And that has closed captions. So of course, that's perfect. Because that's there. But if it's something that's live, especially if it's closed captioning of the match or something, sometimes what shows up is really funny. It's like, I kind of know what you're saying because no one's typing. It's just voice recognition. It's AI. Right. It's a recognition. So sometimes they're just not picking up. And every once in a while they start like learning, people's names. Like Pookie, they know Pookie is spelled the right way.
Right.
Pookie is not like the name of your teddy bear or something like that.
Right.
So some of it will show up as other times it's just freaking hysterical.
Do you ever watch Men in Blazers?
Yes.
That show's pretty good. I like when they interview different people and, when they're making fun of, what did he say? They'll crack a good joke.
I got to see the Men in Blazers show that they did. Is it yesterday?
I've got one queued in my DVR I hadn't watched yet. So
yeah,
or actually
yesterday. I've watched it, which reminds me also because when I was on the Fan Zone, it's on Peacock. They take them down after a week, and you can't get an audio. You can't save it.
You can't download it.
You can't download it. It's streamed. You can't save it. You can't download it. So I had to film it off my. I can either film it off the laptop,
right,
or put it on the big TV and film it. So I have a tripod here, and it has a clip that you can put an iPhone on, and I do that. But the problem is, my computer fan is incredibly annoying. It's probably coming through, and anytime I'm right now, it's going. So if you're streaming something, or if I'm streaming a match, the fan is just like, oh, you're using a lot of electrons. The fan's gonna blow. So there's this hiss that comes on. So when I film it, I had to do one of them like last Monday's show. I had to film it twice because midway through my fan came on, and I have my fan has 4 speeds: off. No, it's 5 speeds: off, low, medium, high, hurricane. So it was.
It's time for a new computer.
Well, it's a work computer, so I'm not complaining. I just wish it wasn't so annoying. The fan coming on when there's anything streaming, or if you're doing a web meeting and there's more than like 2 people, on there, and if I'm watching something, on one of the streaming services. Okay, at some point in time it's going to start freaking out and blowing. It's just really annoying. Sometimes I have to stop and then come back and whatever. It's just an annoying computer. Okay, so do we want to do Thanksgiving questions now?
Yeah.
Sure. All right. So for the Thanksgiving special, I came up with some questions here. So let's pull them up here. They were smaller.
I've got them up if you need them.
Yeah.
Now, hold on. I had to shrink them. All right. So we have several questions. So for Thanksgiving, first question: what are we thankful for?
I'm thankful for good health, that we have all made it through this pandemic. Well, when I say we, my family has all been unscathed, untouched. I know the pandemic's still here, but knock on wood, so far, this 2-year period practically that we've had the pandemic on. Is it almost 2 years, isn't it? Be 2 years in March next year when they were officially calling it a pandemic.
Yeah, but it's basically been like 2 years since it really became an issue.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have managed to stay COVID free, so I'm thankful that we've got our health.
Mark?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I'm an educator. My wife's an educator, and I got 3 kids in school, and we've never even been quarantined
Yep.
in my house, and I've been very thankful for that. I was keeping with the Norwich theme a little bit, though. I am thankful. I am thankful for the willingness of the club to make a decision to move away from Farca. Now,
That's a good one.
I said before when he went and we had our podcast the next day or 2 days later, it's very I'm very Seussian about it. I'm sad that he's gone, but I'm glad that he happened. But our club has always been unwilling to make a decisive move,
right.
The hard choice at the right time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually too little too late or very reactionary. And I think we were in a position where we needed to make the change, and they've made the change. And, we were lucky that Dean Smith was able to fall into our lap.
True.
Yeah, that's a good one. What about you, Ken?
True. Well, I'm similar to you, Jackie. I'm thankful that all of us have come through it, healthy and things. I've been teleworking full time since last March.
Yep, same here.
Yeah, I've been teleworking full time since last March. I'm thankful that my daughter graduated. I'm thankful that last year my son actually got a job in journalism that he can do
Nice.
remotely. That he can write. He actually has an article that he's going to have me look at sometime later tonight.
What type of journalism? Is it everything or?
It's everything, but it was he's doing sports stuff, so it's
nice.
Basically, so he can write about baseball, basketball, football, but with like the local slant, whether it's the Baltimore team, it's University of Maryland team, but also he's covered other things, especially in baseball. He did some more national type of articles and stuff like that. And now he's actually running a social media account. So he's getting there, and he applied for a job with The Athletic. So we'll see what happens, because the person that advertised it, he worked with, not necessarily work with, when he worked for the Orioles regional broadcaster. When he was doing, in college, he was editing the work of the two beat writers who covered the Orioles, and then this regional broadcaster also covers the Nationals games. So the 2 beat writers. So he had 4 beat writers that he was working with, and the person who was like head of the social media for them is now working for The Athletic. So we'll have to see what happens. I haven't, I'm not sure when the application closes. So thankful for that. I'm thankful that my daughter, is doing her theater classes, that she actually can go to them in person. Because today, I dropped her off and then went to the mall, which it's almost within walking. You could walk, but to walk and get back in time for a class would be kind of tough. So she can actually do her theater classes in person. Then we actually got to go to New York last month. She's a theater kid, and saw 3 Broadway shows, and we saw the return of Lin-Manuel Miranda and Chris Jackson to the stage.
Nice. Yes. Oh, is that the Hamilton?
Well, they're in Hamilton, but they were in a show called Freestyle Love Supreme, which Lin had something to do with it. Everything's improv. Like 99% of the show's made up. So we actually, I'm thankful for that. And on the Nord side, I'm thankful that we found a competent manager, that we're not reaching for somebody
Mhm.
um,
I think
that
we were reaching when we
proven.
thought we wanted Frank Lampard. I thought,
Yeah,
didn't he get kicked out of Chelsea
yeah,
because he wasn't getting it done? How was he going to turn us around?
right. I I thought, and I said this on the Fan Zone program, that um, Frank would be a quote unquote sexy choice. But if he took the job, he would have something to prove. It's like,
Okay.
okay, I'm working for a club that's sort of below what I thought I would be working
Mhm.
for, and use it as a stepping stone and say, hey, this is what I can do. Hey, look how successful I am with a club that doesn't have the level of talent that I want. Work as a manager. Look what I've done. Look how great
Mhm.
I am. Please hire me. So
Yeah.
I didn't have an issue with him doing that if he was able to keep them up. The show what's there, then they knew what's going on. I thought the Lampard thing was going to be okay through the end of the season. I didn't
Mm.
think that was going to be a contract, and Dean Smith signed a 2.5 year
Have you
contract.
ever seen him in person?
Huh?
Have you ever seen him in person? Frank Lampard.
No.
We did. He played for some club over here in the US, and they were playing FC Dallas, and the FC Dallas, you had season tickets if your kid played with
Mhm.
FC Dallas. Where we had like right up close seats, and Dave and I were just like, he's huge. That guy is just massive. On TV he looks kind of regular size and thick, but
Uh-huh.
he is huge. We were just looking at how big his legs were, and just, not just his height. We were just going, he didn't look that big on TV. He just looked like a tall guy, but his arms, his legs, everything
Nice.
was massive.
No, I haven't. I've seen friendlies. The Liverpool Tottenham friendly that was held in 2012 in Baltimore. I attended that. That was interesting because of all the different attire that people were wearing, of representing clubs from all over the world and nations all over the
Yeah.
world. That was really interesting. That was like 80% Liverpool fans, 20%
Mm,
Tottenham
yeah.
fans. We went to the 100th year anniversary of U.S. soccer where they played Germany at RFK Stadium. We went to that, and then before the 2014 World Cup, we went and saw um, Spain play El Salvador in a friendly at FedEx Field, and then DC United played, I think, the Columbus Crew in a real game, and that
Hmm.
was the same day as the Belmont Stakes. So that was like first weekend in June. So
Okay.
I've seen, that's who I've seen in person. Then also at the Ravens Stadium, they had what was it, a Gold Cup match? It was like the U.S. versus Cuba, and then Jamaica versus Haiti.
Hmm.
So we got to see that in person. So that's what that was the only match that actually counted. Those two actually counted for something, because that was a that was a cup match. So I've
Yeah.
seen those in person. All right, next question: biggest turkey of the season?
We said it at the same time, Mark. Josh, that missed goal. Josh Sargent, when the goalie came out, fluffed it and fell, ball's just there. He goes and just
Yeah,
whistle taps
he
it.
he, he weak
Whistle
footed it.
taps it. It wasn't even a kick. It was just I think I'll give it a love tap. And I'm like, that's not going in. That's not going.
No.
It was on track, and the defender had time to probably run back from midfield and still clear it. I'm like,
Yeah.
Maybe if it had been played on turf, it might have made it all the way in, but not on grass.
Yeah.
That's
was that
actually
your
not where
turkey? That's not your
that
turkey.
wasn't where I was going. I
That's
love
a
it.
great.
I love it though. I
Yeah,
That's
absolutely
a
love it.
turkey for you.
absolutely. Okay.
No,
Sure.
no,
Absolutely.
my
Go ahead,
my
Mark.
turkey is actually plural. The pundits,
It's what?
the pundits
On
that
Peacock?
no, just all the pundits over there that think that Norwich didn't spend any money. They're not ambitious.
Oh,
That
yeah.
they didn't do
They
their
did
homework. They
spend
haven't
money.
done any research.
Right.
You know, I would hope that they get tossed out of a helicopter and hit the pavement like sacks of wet cement.
Whew, that was
That's-
pretty,
Hold
that was
on,
pretty
Mark.
specific.
Hold on. Since it's a turkey, you hope that they're treated like the turkeys from the WKRP Thanksgiving episode.
That's where I went.
One,
That's where
one
I
of the
went with
best
that.
TV episodes ever.
That's where I went with that.
Yeah. One of the best.
I didn't expect Jackie to get it, but I knew you'd get it, Ken.
I do know that show. I don't remember that episode, but I do know WKRP.
Oh, you got to look it up.
It's on YouTube. I showed it to my students on Friday, or at least the scene. The scene.
It's great because it's like, hey, what if we do an episode where they do a turkey drop and they think the turkeys can fly but can't, and then they cover it like the Hindenburg disaster.
No.
And Les Nessman
covered it
there.
like the Hindenburg.
I mean, it is a classic comedy.
I'm gonna look it up when we get off of here.
Look it up. Just do WKRP.
Turkey drop.
Turkey drop.
You'll find it. You'll find variations of it.
It is one of the funniest things ever. Yeah, the turkey drop. Yeah, both are good choices. For me, it was just getting hammered by Chelsea. They had absolutely no business. It was so bad. I didn't even watch the second half. It was 3-0.
Was this a 7-0 beatdown?
7-0. Yeah, that was.
Okay.
I didn't watch the second half. I had stuff to do. I had stuff to do. Then I think something was happening at 1. I think it was like a Maryland football game or something, or something was happening. Oh no, my daughter was doing like an online thing, so I was going to go. The match was at 7:30.
That was early game.
I had stuff. I had to go someplace. We had lots of stuff we had to take to our landfill and whatever. And the earlier you get to the landfill, the better it is.
You have to wait in line.
Woke up. It's like, oh, when are we going to the dump? Already went. It was like it was so bad. I said, forget it. It's just like I just can't. It's just like they were just getting drilled. They had no hope whatsoever. And I really think that was the match where Weber said, "That's it. We can't. We have to make a change." And they didn't right after that. But other, what is it? Solskjaer, got sacked by Man U after they got drilled by Watford. They didn't make any change, right after that match. And then they just hung out for a while, and then it's okay. So that was the biggest turkey.
Wow. Now, see, I would have thought, Mark, the biggest turkey, if I was talking about a game, was, when we went to across the pond, made up with you guys.
Right.
Was that Arsenal?
That was Arsenal.
Yeah. That game, we just looked like we forgot how to kick a ball.
Yeah.
We you went in there knowing that Arsenal was already down on their luck and that we should have beat them. And it was like, what is happening?
Yeah. That's a traditional thing. It's like along come Norwich. Which is right. Mm-hmm. Which is now what was a podcast or what was that web blog? What is the Long Come Norwich? Now,
I think it's a site they do some writing there because I've done some writing for them.
That's right.
I
think they've done some pods though too.
It's not a nursery rhyme.
No. But it's
Long Come Norwich.
It's always, hey, a team is struggling. Along come Norwich to solve that team's struggling.
Oh wow!
Because Norwich would be like, oh, here's a guaranteed win. We know this will solve. This will solve the problem.
We're everybody's homecoming opponent.
Right, everyone's homecoming opponent. And then in baseball,
it's the Thanksgiving. You know how Dallas always picks the easy team so they can win.
Well, I hope they beat the Raiders. I'm a Chiefs guy, so
yeah, the Raiders. Yeah, so in baseball, the corollary is, oh, we stink. Let's have the stopper out there or something like that, or whatever. Yeah, but along come Norwich. It's like, this team's struggling. We'll solve their problem. Norwich will just show up and be bad.
Yeah.
So that's a T-shirt too, is it?
Yeah. And
that's the back of the T-shirt that I've got. What was my slogan? I forgot.
It up.
Oh, the thugging it up.
Plug it
Yeah.
up. Plug it up.
Plugging it up and along come Norwich.
The other
I
part,
saw
I was going to say, the
I
other
saw
part of, go ahead.
funny T-shirt. Let's see. Oh, did I have it? Yeah, I looked it up to see where it was. It was a funny T-shirt. It's oh god, I have to find it. It was like I'm something like I'm fueled by coffee, chaos, and cuss words or something.
I've seen variations of that.
Yeah, I have to find that. It was here we go. Oh yeah, I run on coffee, chaos, and cuss words. There you go.
The other part of Along Come Norwich is this idea that it seems like we're always catching teams after a manager change,
Right.
and they get us on the bounce.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is where some of that comes from too.
True. Or a team that really needs a good performance to save something, then Norwich will come in, they'll be fine. You know that they're struggling, or either the manager, the new manager, or the manager struggling, or whatever. It's just like, all right. Next question: biggest ham on the team.
Oh, I want to say Norman. He doesn't showboat a lot, but if I were going to say he was the biggest ham, I mean, he's got the biggest foot. He is one that will cross midfield and take that shot, and he's going to accidentally score one of these days. But he looks like he'll, take you on, go on in a fight, slide in on you, and, and I would say he would get my ham vote.
I'm going with Kenny McLean.
Really? He's
yeah,
so
well, no, you need to go back and find the footage of him after promotion where he's wearing the Town Criers hat with a bottle of Mad Dog in his hand.
Not Mad Dog. They don't still make that, do they?
Oh, absolutely, they do. Actually,
he had a bottle of 2020 in his hand. He's up there on the porch of the
College
city hall.
Drink.
Okay.
And they are all sloshed.
It's apparently not called Mad Dog. It's just called MD, because I actually looked it up.
We used to say MD 2020.
That's the official name, and Mad Dog's like the nickname. There's like 10 different flavors.
No.
Yes.
That stuff was like paint thinner.
Yeah.
I think he had orange.
He's drinking it. So when they won,
when they got promoted.
Yeah. When they got promoted, what was it? 18?
Yeah, time before last.
Yeah. And he takes the tri, what's the hat with the 3 points?
The trifold hat. It's a Town Crier hat. Now everybody calls him the mayor of Norwich. It's not the mayor's hat. It was the Town Crier's hat.
It's not a jester hat.
No. And it's like, I'm the mayor now, and he's ringing the bell, and he's just so drunk. Yeah, but I agree.
They all were.
That's my pick for the ham, because he looks like a guy who has a lot of fun, and he also thinks higher of his ability than his ability than the ability he has.
Yeah.
The ability he has.
Okay.
He thinks that he's the one that's gonna do a long range shot and think it's gonna go in. So he's definitely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's definitely the one on the team, who is gonna be hamming it up and jokes, and he also on social media, he cracks on people all the time. You'll see him comment and stuff like that. So he's probably just and I even sort of understand his Scottish accent, but he's someone like, who would you want to hang out with and party? Kenny McLean, even though he has the same name as me, he's someone that would just have a blast, in partying.
I was going to say a ham in advertisement is that Williams, the one they've got on loan from Man U. Just the ads they do with him. He looks, he's good on the camera.
Oh, Brandon Williams. He has the
his persona. You don't hear him talk a whole lot, but the few little videos you have seen, he's got that cockiness about him.
Yeah, he has the the early 20s English haircut. I don't know what else to call
that
it.
Little swoop going across there. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it is, that just looks awful.
Private school, boy.
Okay, the
Or they call it public school.
public school.
Private
Yeah,
school over there is
public school.
public
I
school.
just think it looks awful. It's like a trendy haircut, and it's almost as if, hey, the Peaky Blinders haircut. Let's bring that back and make it bad.
Oh no. No, they were horrible haircuts on the peak. They had it shaved too much down the side. You got to wear your razor hat to pull that one off.
Yeah. So it's all right. Now this is a little tougher. Okay, favorite side. So this would be favorite side for Thanksgiving, and if you had like a favorite 11 that this might be too long. So let's just do favorite side for Thanksgiving, because coming up with your favorite starting 11 probably is going to take too long.
I wrote mine down. I did my homework.
There you go.
I thought it was from the Charlie Brown thing.
No,
that's the last
we'll
question.
get to that. We'll get to that one.
Oh,
All right, so let's just do favorite Thanksgiving side, and we'll let Mark do his best 11.
yeah. Do yours first.
All right, so for me, it's pickled beets. I only basically get them once a year. I get a whole jar for myself. I used to eat more of them, but I am very prone to kidney stones, and they're on my no-no list, and so I only get them once a year. So I love pickled beets. Whole or sliced, but usually we get the whole ones and just the little ones, and I just suck those suckers down. All right, so I went with basically a historical 11 based on the time that I've really, really, really followed the club, where I've been able to watch them on TV and stuff. And I went with it's a weird formation. A lot of that's because I couldn't make decisions on people. Pookie and Holt up front, both. And then I've got a front three behind them of Wes, Emmy, and Cantwell. I put Tete and Johnson behind them as mids. And then I put a back three of Basong, Adam Drury, and Martin Olson with Kroll in net. And then I had a bench, and I kept moving around bench.
Hold on. Who'd you say you had? Who was your back three again?
Basong, Drury, and Martin Olson.
Oh, Drury. Okay, yeah.
And I had some other people in there, and I had Lewis on there, and then I realized, wait a minute, I got 12. I have to take one off, and I had a bench, and the bench has gotten kind of messed up. So I had Nathan Redmond on the bench, Vranchik on the bench, Close on the bench, Ruddy obviously for the goaltender, and then I bumped Lewis down, but that would be the sixth person on the bench. So anyway, so I had my 16 basically.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't even come up with it because I was doing the stuff here. So for me, favorite Thanksgiving side would actually be the cranberry sauce made with the real cranberries. So I enjoy the one in a jar, but if it's like, okay, the cranberry sauce that actually has the cranberries, I really enjoy the cranberry sauce. I can take or leave, the mashed potatoes and the stuffing or whatever, and no one really does mac and cheese. There's an article. There was an article in our local paper that it said the Black Thanksgiving side trinity. There was an article about what sides Black families like to serve for Thanksgiving.
And it definitely is mac, and we have some mac and cheese, but we have bacon in it.
Well, you can put anything in it.
You can put anything in it, but mac and cheese. But ours always has. I mean, we do sweet potato pies instead of pumpkin pies.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. My mom she makes a killer. Her potato salad is just, I mean, that's supposed to be a summer thing, but she does it even at Thanksgiving. Good thing. And the deviled eggs. But I start with dessert first because I know I'm not going to have room for it. And my favorite side is bourbon pecan pie.
Ooh. That sounds good. We actually have pumpkin pie in the house. I bought it the other day, and my wife and daughter is like, "Where's the whipped cream?" It's like, I'm not buying the whipped cream.
No, you made that.
They like the whipped cream. To me, whipped cream is like an empty calorie sort of thing. Whipped cream.
Yeah.
So, but that sounds like a good pie. I'll have to see if they have.
Oh, bourbon pecan pie. You can't go wrong. Now, if you put too much bourbon in it, it doesn't taste right. Some people like the stronger in there, but I used to measure, and one time I got heavy-handed and just poured some in there and went, "Oh, it's been a." Oh, it was just too much. You could smell it coming off the pie when you take. I'm
Okay.
like, "Oh, good
That
God, we're gonna
reminds
get
me. Actually, my coworker hasn't done this for a while. She made rum cake and would bring them in. So the rum cake was like the size of a catering tray. You know, if you got like a catering
Yeah.
tray, you know, a very,
Mhm.
I don't know, like
Did she have
30-inch.
toasted pecans on it?
I don't remember, 30-inch diameter or whatever. So she would bring it in, and the center, if you had a piece in the center, you were immediately intoxicated. So one of our bosses had like an early retirement, and she made one especially for him, and he made sure just to take the
The
centerpiece
middle
for
piece.
himself. So before I started working here, apparently one time she made it with 151 rum and didn't realize it. People were like, "Ooh, this is the best rum cake ever."
Nah.
Yeah.
I made my pecan pie with some well, I did 2 rum cakes for Thanksgiving 2 years ago, and I brought back some rum from Jamaica. Oh,
There you go.
that rum is wholly different. It was a cream rum. It's totally different from the stuff we get in the stores here. So that was a good cake.
All right. Next question. Who or what do you relish?
I'm thinking, Mark, you got something lined up already?
Yeah, I already wrote all mine out. So I'll go with the low hanging fruit. Pookie.
Do you?
Yeah, I relish. It's along with being thankful for him, but I relish him because if not him, we don't score a lot, and he's about half of our output right now.
Oh.
It seems like so.
Do they have to be currently in the squad?
No.
I'm gonna say I still miss Emmy.
Yeah.
I just love the song they would sing every time he scored. So I still relish Emmy Buendia.
Okay. For me, it's the family-friendly nature of the
Of the
club.
club. Absolutely.
It's the family-friendly nature of the club and how they're trying to, now that they're trying to build everything the right way, not just focusing on the first team, which got them in trouble. And as a Baltimore Orioles season ticket holder, I got plenty of things here, bobbleheads or whatever. Let's pull up here's an Orioles bobblehead.
There you go.
My office, I have this is like a exclusive or something, This is I have plenty of things. So my office is, I have Orioles stuff, I have Maryland stuff, I have, it's more Orioles baseball. I have like all sorts of stuff here, like over my shoulder. Hold on, I gotta get it the other way. Back here, that's a poster of Norwich's who scored goals in 10 years versus Ipswich. The one that's green and yellow or whatever. It's like the only Norwich thing I have on the wall, but it's like my little mini museum here. So the Orioles spent a lot of money, on the major league team from 12 to 16, and really didn't spend any money on the minors, didn't spend a lot of money on international scouting, and that's why they stink right now. And they're building up everything. They're now the number one rated minor league system, and they're doing international scouting. So what Norwich is doing is very similar, realizing that we can't put our money into the first team. We have to build the club as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we need the facilities, we need a nest, we need Colney. So I like that they're doing that. That will sustain them.
And so you're going to lead me into another relish. I relish this opportunity that my son has had, and watching how much time and energy they invest in these youth. They're not just cranking them out, like, oh, we're going to give you 5 minutes, and if you're not weighing up to our standards, we're going to cut you. They give them a good opportunity to prove themselves and to grow and to build and to learn. And it's just been amazing watching how he's grown over the last couple of years. And the discipline, they're a no nonsense kind of club too. They're not going to put up with hard headedness. They don't care how good you are. If you're bad for the team and bad for the squad, and your personality doesn't fit, they just as soon trade you than to keep you.
Mm-hmm.
If your work ethic isn't good, you're gonna be on the chopping block. And he tells us time and time. I'm like, isn't that the kid? The score goes, yeah, but he monkeys around in practice, or he does this, or his things. If you're getting into trouble off the field, you won't hear about it in the papers. They're not going to talk about it, but you're out. It's like, you are here for a reason. We're here to nurture you. We're here to help you grow. We want you to be the best player you can be. Not just for us. Even if we sell you, we want you to be the best that you can be. I mean, like, they could be one of those ugly clubs that don't want to release you. Look at Harry Kane right now. He wanted to leave. They didn't let him leave, and he's not having good of a season, right? But look how I think fans would think like, oh God, you shouldn't have let Emmy go. You shouldn't have got rid of Godfrey. You shouldn't have got. They needed to do that to make room for some more talent,
Right. Well, Emmy didn't want to play at Norwich anymore. Stuart Weber made that pretty clear, which was kind of interesting. And then I think they felt that Godfrey they didn't necessarily need to sell, but I think Everton came with
a good offer.
Good offer that they were willing to do it. Jamal Lewis was a bit surprising, that they sold him. I didn't think he was at that
Where
level.
did he go?
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Okay.
I don't think. I mean, Godfrey's starting in the back line.
Some injuries happened. They had him in the back line. I thought I saw him playing center back in one game, though.
Yeah. He's like a regular back there, versus Jamal really is not necessarily a regular. And then then they sold Madison. They had to sell Madison because they didn't sell Madison. Then they had big financial problems. And
big.
Right. Yeah. He's still doing
Dermot. And Dermot's still on the payroll, but they have to let him go back to. He's in Croatia, or where is he?
I think they let everyone go that was like banished to, the hinterlands.
I think he's still on their payroll.
Dermot, Leitner, Tribal, or they're all. I think they're all off the payroll. All right.
Yeah, he's technically still on loan.
Really? Okay.
Dermot, that's what I thought.
Oh, speaking on loan, who do we have? Sebastian Soto.
Right.
He's a U.S. player. Yeah, he scored a goal.
He came back for a bit, but where is he now?
Huddersfield. He's apparently scored over the weekend. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what happened to him because he came back after coming to the Nationals. Wasn't he responsible for
He scored like 3 goals.
Giving the ball up. No, he did a missed a pass or something.
And for the U.S. team, he actually scored like a couple of goals.
Did he?
He played.
Yeah, he did. He had friendly.
It wasn't.
He had some boners, so he had some boners, so.
Yeah, not a match. It wasn't like qualifying, So
yeah.
But he played. I'm like, oh, look at that! Hey, it's our guy. He's playing well. All right,
good for him.
Penultimate question here: who has got the sauce?
Oh God, I haven't seen any sauce yet. Like you keep saying Pookie's your man, but I keep thinking there's a one-trick pony. They only know how to play Pookie in a certain way.
Right.
Any other way you play the ball at Pookie, if he can't turn and go and out sprint somebody and get it, he's not my sauce man. Cruel, I'm gonna say he's got a sauce because he's got to defend that daggum goal, and it's coming at him 24/7 because other teams shoot way more than we do. They get in our face and they attack more. So I'm gonna give my sauce to Cruel.
Yeah, the Timmy Cruel. Yeah, I don't know if Tim has the sauce. He definitely needs to wear larger underwear than the other guys do.
He's got to put on some MC Hammer pants where it's sagging down the middle.
It's a family show.
Is it the squirrel, the fly pants?
It's a family show. I mean, come on. I mean, who else gets to? Was it 2014 World Cup? They subbed him in specifically for the penalty kicks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there was a game, and they won the match because they knew Kroll was better than everybody else. Oh, Kroll was I mean, at least I think when there's a penalty kick that, hey, he has a chance to save it
Yeah.
versus John Ruddy. Forget it. Even though Ruddy's record was better than I thought, I never saw he had a shot in hell to save it. I watch a lot of Spurs. Hugo Lloris, anytime there's a penalty, if he saves it, I'm shocked because there's just like a way of doing it in anticipation, and being proactive. And Ruddy, he was never proactive. He was always reactive. He never was anticipating where something was going to come. He was relying on his reflexes versus Kroll's anticipating where things are coming, cutting off angles. Wasn't there a shot like someone had like a free shot on goal, and because Tim came out so far, on Saturday's match, that he cut off the angle and the guy missed it because Kroll basically
because he's trying to go around him. Yeah,
like 20%, right? Because he went out. So I like that he does that. He's got he has something to prove. I like the emphasis. I like how he's always talking to people. That's there.
You're supposed to. If you're in that back line, I don't care if you're the goalie or if you're one of them 4 back lines. Communication is key back there. Right. It drives Jonathan nuts if people aren't talking.
And then when someone scores a goal and he has no shot, oh my God, he's constantly
he is playing a strip like the
he's constantly I don't know. You can just imagine, he's constantly like, yo, you screwed up, man. You didn't help me at all. Come on. It's a family program. Mark, who's got the sauce for you?
Norman.
Yeah, I like Norman too. But I can't give Norman all the sauce yet. I think Norman's got some. Yeah.
When I first saw the question, I immediately went to Norman when you sent that to me yesterday. So I think he's the sauce is there.
Yeah, he's just got to get some supporting sauce with him. I mean, he runs his behind off out there.
I'd love to see some work rate data from the
club and see what does he end up does he play the full 90? Not all the time. He always seems to come out in the second half, like probably in the 60th or 70th minute. They tend to bring him off
because I think he's played
his hammy. He keeps either getting cramp or hamstring stuff going on.
Yeah, this last match he had an issue.
Yeah. Normally, like I say, about the 70th minute or so.
He also scored that ridiculous goal.
Yeah.
That was like, what? And it's like, okay.
That's
not a goal you expect someone in his position to score.
But that's what I'm saying. He'll wind up.
Right.
Who's your sauce?
I agree with that, but I would say someone who's bringing it now is Rashica. He's showing me a lot where he didn't show me much. He's really, he had the pass to Aarons for the first goal. Didn't he have the corner that they scored on against Brentford? Wasn't that of a corner or something? So he's showing me
what he can do.
He's showing me what they got him for. He's showing me the pace, the creativity. He's showing me something. Yeah, but the Norman of all the ones they brought in, Norman's the best.
So a month from now, are either one of you going to be say Dean Smith has the sauce?
No.
That he's figured out what the lineup should be? Because to me, that was what the problem was with Park. You went and spent money, you got the talent, but it didn't seem like he could put the right combination on the field.
Right.
So will Dean figure that out, and then we can give Dean the sauce award?
I think he started by figuring this out because at 9 o'clock Saturday, or whatever time it was, when people looked at it, they're like, "Whoa, that's what we wanted!" When the lineup came out, there's a lot of people that said, that's what we wanted.
I thought it still needed some work on it. I thought people were still shocked. I mean, reading some of the commentary I read on Instagram, I thought some people were shocked and saying, "Why was Cantwell starting?"
Like I said, I think that maybe was based on him having 2 really good days of practice and Dean Smith seeing, what he'd done in the past. I mean, they won. I was surprised to see him in there just because he hadn't been with the first team that long.
Hmm.
Would Dean Smith, though, having coached in the league and having seen Cantwell, be more likely to go with someone he knows and is familiar with
Right,
than someone else?
right. I agree. Yeah, that's why I
I-
thought he went with him, and and Gilmore starting was like, oh, everyone. I was like, oh, Gilmore and Cantwell were starting. When I was on the fan zone, Darren Eady mentioned both those guys. You know,
Huh.
and it was interesting. It's okay, you got something there. Also, playing Gilmore, not not necessarily supporting Norman, playing him more forward.
Mm.
Playing him
Okay.
more forward and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I mentioned that he's the possibility of being, like your Wes Houlihan role. I think that's maybe be more natural for him because I think he's a liability defensively. So I think having him more forward would be better.
So, do we think we're going to get anything out of Janulis? Did he play?
He came in late, didn't he?
Yeah, he came in late.
That's one of the new ones, right?
Yeah.
Janulis and Norman
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
Rashif.
he finished the season with us last year. Janulis did.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Right.
he was playing a lot last year. He hadn't featured so much this year.
He's been in like half. He's also been subbed out twice at halftime.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So I think against the better squads, he just can't hack it. He doesn't have
Mm.
the I don't know toughness, skill,
Yeah.
something speed. Yeah, they put Brandon Williams in. He has the speed. Obviously, does he have the toughness? I'm not sure. But
Now,
he's also right-footed playing on that side, and G
how
Morris is
long
left-footed.
is Brandon? Brandon's on loan with us from Man U, right?
Yeah, for a
Is he
year.
here?
Him and Billy Gilmore are on loan for a year.
Oh, I thought Gilmore was one of ours. I didn't realize he was a loanee.
Yeah, Gilmore's a
Yeah.
loanee, and I think isn't it like can't they like be recalled in January or something like
Yeah,
that?
I think either
The
one of them
window
could get
Yeah.
opens.
recalled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
during the
I
window.
mean,
Yeah,
Spurs recalled Harry Kane. Now he'd broken his leg. I mean, it's perfectly understandable they'd want their own medical staff
right.
on him than ours. But yeah, you can pretty much recall somebody if you need to.
Yeah. Who do we have out on loan that could come back to the first team? Anybody of note?
Talk about Hernandez. We were talking about Hernandez last week,
Is Hernandez on loan?
isn't he?
Yeah, that's a Hernandez. You have. I'm trying to think who else you had. You had Soto as a striker. He's playing at Huddersfield. Trying to think who else they sent out. I know
Yeah,
the backup
Hernandez is on loan.
goalie
Yeah,
Bardem went
Soto's
somewhere.
not played with the first team yet, though, has he? Has he
No.
played with Norwich's first team? No.
No.
Soto.
No, he played in preseason, and they sent him. They
Yeah,
sent
he
him
was
out.
down there playing with the 23s, though, because he was
Yeah.
down there playing with Jonathan.
Yeah, they sent him out. So I'm not sure who else they have.
They need somebody up there that doesn't have to do the one trick, play the ball behind Pookie and run after it. They need somebody that's just, gonna run and come at you. Make the defender split up. We just don't seem to have one of those.
True, and also the veteran leadership. You don't have anybody who you can rely on, the rah guy, the one that's gonna
Well,
rally the
isn't
troops.
Hanley your biggest veteran out there?
Yeah, but Hanley
But he's in the back.
right. Hanley is a
Raw
defender.
line.
You need someone who's not a defender, right?
Wouldn't that be our Norman?
Possibly, but isn't he on loan? Is he a loan
Norman's
player?
not on.
Is he a loan
Oh,
player?
I thought they bought Norman.
Did they buy
Did
Norman? Mark,
Norman's.
I
I thought they bought Norman.
thought we
could be
bought him
wrong.
too based on
Okay.
the money involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I was pulling up other people looking for loanees.
Okay. Yeah, every once in a while there'll be an article about that. Yeah, Neil Adams is doing that. All right, we're
Yeah.
already and the special
Well,
thanks. If I knew
done.
this was going to go long, because Jackie's an outstanding guest. You know, your pleasure. Uh,
Thank you for inviting me on here. I had no clue what Mark was talking about. I thought I was, coming in to listen to something. And Dave talked to me today. He's like, "No, you're going to be talking." I'm like,
Oh
"What?"
yeah,
I said,
yeah.
I said,
Yeah,
"I thought
you're
you
gonna.
wanted me to just
Sorry, I
come
didn't.
listen to a podcast."
Yeah, you're gonna be talking. It's like we're trying to get as varied as people as someone actually. We had one of you guys that be on the list for a while, and I thought it was going to be later. We had somebody else who I had invited that sometime like Saturday, no, sometime middle of the day. Yes, I goes, oh man, I got a court case Tuesday morning. I can't do it. Can I do it another time? Sure, you can do another time. I'm like, okay, Mark, who do we have? Who do we have? Well, Josh's parents. Really? Okay, can they do it? Can they do it? He says, awesome. Yeah, it says, that works.
So, you got to do it again with Dave because he is literally like a little pundit. I mean, you're watching the game and it's like he said everything before the halftime show comes up, and Rebecca Lowe and the two Robbies on there, they start talking and I'm like, oh, good Lord, he said all of that during this game,
Uh-huh.
and he is just Mr. Soccer Man,
Yeah.
He's keeping stats as the game goes. And now he's got me like, he goes, tell me how many fouls Norwich got versus how many fouls the other team got. And, and I'm like, oh, now I see what you mean. They don't, if I were to translate Norwich into how I play basketball, when I was teaching Jonathan he got to play basketball a couple of times, during the soccer off season. But I was teaching him how to block out because, he's tall and rally and thin like I used to be. And I was like, oh, no, boy, you got to get wide, get them elbows up. You got to put, and I'm demonstrating what I would do. And he goes, isn't that foul? And I said, not if the referee doesn't see it. And I said, you got to use I said, you throw a hip. I said, people don't like feeling those bones. I was teaching him. And he's like, my God, you play dirty. I said, you're dang straight.
There you go. Speaking of women's basketball, did you see Maryland beat Baylor?
I did not.
Yeah. Maryland women's team, and they had two players.
They was good. Baylor had that team that had that girl that I wasn't quite sure was a girl on it at one point.
Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
Brittany Griner.
She sounded like a man though.
Yeah, Brittany Griner's like 6'7", and she has a very raspy voice.
Very manly. Now I can say my voice is raspy now because I went to a concert Thursday and I'm still hoarse. But it's like I'm like looking at that girl when she talked and went, "Are we sure that's the girl?" Look.
Yeah. She's. I'm being polite. She has a very. But the very first time I heard her, I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
That is a very mannish sounding voice. But I guess with your 6'7",
I don't know. I wanted a side profile to see if I could see that Adam's apple. I'm checking.
Oh God. It reminds me when I was in college, there was someone that walked past us all the time. I would leave one particular class, when you'd always see the same people in the hallway.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, is that a man or a woman? I can't tell. It was someone that was androgynous. And finally, said, all right, let's get close enough. Oh, Adam's apple. It was one of those. I just couldn't tell for about a month.
Yeah.
And then my friend and I was like, all right, look for the Adam's apple. See if you can, see if you can see it.
I would say look at the hands, but I got man hands. I got big hands for a girl.
I have small hands for a guy. My hands are small. My I have very, very small. Like when I see other people with huge hands, oh my God, your hands are, so huge. Oh, you mentioned huge people before we get the last question. My brother used to work for the at the time they were the ABC affiliate in Baltimore. Now the CBS. He was producing sports on the weekend. One time I got to go to Memorial Stadium, when they were doing a live broadcast. For like their 6 o'clock news or something. So, I got to tag along, and they were setting up in the dugout. I think they were interviewing Cal Ripken. So I'm 6 foot tall. And so Cal comes off the field, and everything about him was huge. 6'4", everything, like his hands were long, his fingers were thick. Everything about him was, God, that's a big dude. Okay. And then Freddie Lynn was playing for the Orioles at that time. And Fred Lynn comes out and he goes into the dugout and he looked like me. He looked just like a normal guy. Fred Lynn looked as a 6-footer.
Yeah.
There's nothing about him that was huge. Everything was like, okay, that's an average 6-foot dude. If you saw him walking on the street, you wouldn't go, geez, this guy must be an athlete. He just looked everything was huge. And Fred Lynn, everything was normal.
Was this in the days of the leaded and unleaded juice in the locker room?
I think it was before. If you still had Fred Lynn in the game.
This was before. So this was
when you were as big as Barry Bonds and all those guys.
Yeah, this is the late 80s.
You got that Klingon forehead coming off. Yeah.
But this is in the late 80s. And speaking of huge, one time my wife and I don't even know where we were, but we were connecting in Dallas, the Dallas-Fort Worth airport. And I think I had something like we had a snack or something. And then I went to throw it out, and I knew the desks where people would check in, like the gate desk or whatever, where you check in, there's a trash can. And so I walk up, and Wes Unseld is there, the guy who played for the Bullets and stuff. And now his son is the coach of the Wizards. And, Wes Unseld, was, I don't know, 6'5".
I thought he was 6'8".
No, he was, they lied. He was like 6'5".
Yeah.
They lied.
Yeah.
Everything about him was huge.
It's freakishly big.
His head was large. His hair was.
Well, he had the fro too.
The afro going. It was like, that's one of the largest men I'd seen in person. And I worked the Baltimore Colts training camp. The year before they left town.
You didn't see Charles Barkley, did you?
Huh?
You didn't see Charles Barkley.
No, but everything about one Unseld was massive. I talked to him a little bit. And I told my wife, and I says, I guarantee you, he sits in first class. She says, why? I says, he can't fit in the coach.
They got to take a seat out.
And he was in first class. Got on the plane. Like, hey, nice talking to you. He did a little wave, and that was it. I didn't, but he was just, everything about him was just enormous.
6'7", 245.
Okay, that's a lie. He's not 6. Yeah, he was never
245. Probably 245.
245 maybe is my weight. He was never that big. They always lied about his height.
Yeah.
You think he was shorter?
Huh?
You think he was shorter than that?
He was shorter. They lied about his height. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they lied about his height.
They do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was. Everything was just huge.
So I come from a family of giants. So when people ask me why are our kids so big, I'm almost 5'11", and Dave is just right under 6 feet. So Jonathan's 6'3", his brother's 6'4", and his brother's only 17 and still growing. Jonathan, I think his growth plate is still open, so he might get an height. But when he came to my father's wake, right, Jonathan's always been walking around here like he's some big stud, right, when he was 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
He never felt shorter when he came to my dad's wake, because the shortest man is 6'2". It starts at 6'2" on that side of the family.
There you go. So, isn't like the height of the kids comes from the mom? Isn't that right?
It might be true. No, not necessarily.
I just got done with my genetics unit. That's not quite how it
That's not true. I thought the balding hair pattern comes from the mom.
Yeah, Mark pretending he's a science teacher or something.
Yeah,
but no.
I've always heard that about the balding too, except that when your paternal grandmother's maiden name is Balderston, because all the men are bald as a stone.
Balderston. So
bringing it back to Norwich.
Yeah, I know. Well, big people. Actually, I won't even say a coworker. Another person who is employed by the same federal agency I am is Chase Young's mom. The defensive end for the Redskins. He was like defensive rookie of the year last year.
Chase Young? I know Vince
Yeah.
Young. Why am I thinking of Vince Young?
The defensive
Okay.
rookie. He's
Longhorn.
been like an Under Armour commercials, for the
Okay.
now it's like Washington football team or whatever. And she is, God, probably my height or taller, and
Yeah.
not a small woman. Yeah,
Uh,
not a small, not overweight. Just
yeah.
she's a large woman. So that her fact that her son is a large defensive end is not
Yeah.
shocking, because it's
Yeah.
so I wouldn't call her a coworker. I talked to her like 3 times in my life or
Mm.
something, and only once for more than "Hi, how you doing?"
Right. Right. Mm.
But I think she's still working. It's like, oh, your son's making, I asked someone, says, is she still working? Yeah, she's still working. So she's
Still
probably,
do, because you just say your kids' money is their money. If they tell you to move down where they're at and they want to take care of you, then you quit working.
well, but he's playing, because he's a local. He's from the Washington, D.C. area,
Yeah.
and he's playing for the Washington team. He went
Yeah.
to DeMatha, the Catholic, the big Catholic private school, which is just down the street from University of Maryland. So it's well known through the country. All right, well, let's do the last one because Jackie's yawning here. Yeah, my
Yeah,
wife.
girl, my clients are on the East Coast.
Uh-huh.
So, like, I'm a consultant, and so the people I have to work with, they're all on the East Coast, so they're an hour ahead. So my day starts when their day starts.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that when I lived in Albuquerque, everything not only was the TV, all the TV broadcasts were an hour earlier. Live TV obviously was 2 hours earlier, but everything started earlier. Like the
Yeah.
workday didn't start at 8; it started at 7. Everything was earlier. It was just kind of weird. Everything was okay. The news comes on at 10. Okay, that's fine. Go to sleep at 11 instead of 12 because you have to be at work by 7, not leave at 7 or something to get to work. So it was kind of interesting. All right. So last night, Apple let PBS show the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. And as we know, Charlie Brown Thanksgiving has interesting food choices. So the question here, and of course, the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving is interesting. It's a classic program.
American staple.
Yeah, it's an American staple, but honestly, over the last 2 years, now with people being more aware of social and racial issues, Franklin's seat on the side of the table has gotten a lot of notice. So when they set up the table, I noticed this for a long time. When they set up the table, there's seats, 4 sides. So there's like 4 seats on the long side and 2 on the short side. When Franklin's eating the food at the table, he's all by himself on the other side of the table and no chairs next to him.
Yeah.
That's naughty.
No chairs next to him. So it's got a lot of attention.
And we watched this show all the time growing up and never noticed that or paid attention to that. You just watch it for Charlie Brown.
People notice, but if you because I noticed that when they set up, okay, the side of the table he's sitting on, there's 4 chairs there. Then when they show him eating, the other 3 disappear.
Oof.
So he's like on the side by himself. So so it's one of those things. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah.
Did you notice it as a kid though when you watched it?
No, I didn't notice it as a kid.
No.
I'm noticing it now.
Yeah, I only know it because it got brought up in something that was came up in an article on the internet, and I was
there's been some memes about it and things, and I don't know if that was a part of appeasing the CBS affiliates down south because that was still 69, 70 when that came out.
Right.
Or not, but
yeah.
Well, you know how that. I think that the story is how the character got introduced was Um,
Yeah, because that show is primarily white. You got Pigpen, who's just dirty. I don't know why they rolling around with him, but yeah, when did
well, whatever was introduced, someone wrote to Charles Schultz. It was like, hey, why I forgot who wrote in. Like, why don't you have a
black
character? And they supposedly introduced the first strip he was introduced in was at the beach, and that was intentional.
Oh, wow!
That was an intentional inclusion of the black kid swimming at the beach. That was apparently intentional on Charles Schultz's part to have him be introduced in that setting.
That's a bit tacky.
Well,
because didn't something happen to the kid at the beach, or didn't he get questioned on the beach?
It wasn't tacky. I think he was aware of the, I don't know, I have to be careful how I'm saying this, the impression that certain people in the black community don't swim or are afraid.
Well, the other part of that is the idea of integrated pools.
Right.
Back then, because I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen the classic picture of the guy throwing acid into the pool with the two small black children. Yeah, there's a picture of that out there from about that same period. I mean,
I'm pretty sure it isn't. They
late 60s.
intentionally was introduced into the comic strip in that circumstance. You know, I don't know. It's like, hey, we're going to introduce them. Let's introduce them and have them be just like the other kids. You know, have them to do something that, you know, it's like, hey, look at that.
But we're not going to dare have him sitting at the table with the other kids.
Yeah, that was weird. So that came up in the last 2 years. You know, I mean, he's with them, but it's like, well, wait a second. Not only is he by himself, but the other chairs disappeared. Where'd the other chairs go? I noticed that. So I'm like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
You know, and they of course they haven't gone back and
fixed it.
They fixed it. Okay, so we're approaching 2 hours here.
We're burying the lead here.
Huh?
We're burying the lead here. What's our
final question?
Final question. Favorite Charlie Brown Thanksgiving food? So
popcorn.
So the choices are, so when they make the food, they have buttered toast, popcorn, jelly beans, and pretzel sticks. And Mark said they drink milkshake, which, but I was going like, what's on the, so Jackie is popcorn. Mark, what do you have?
Jelly beans.
Okay.
If you gave me all 4 of those in a row, I'll go for the jelly beans.
Only the black jelly beans. Those are the best ones. I like the licorice flavor.
I don't like the black jelly beans.
I love the licorice flavor.
I don't like black licorice flavor. Okay, my choice, I'm going with popcorn. The reason is, the reason is during the first Thanksgiving, that is the only food of the 4 that might have been in existence. Because corn was in existence, and you could have created popcorn by taking some kernels and heating them. So popcorn could have been in existence, you know, in the early 1600s. Jelly beans, no. They would have no way to toast the bread, you know, like the traditional way we make toast now. Bread probably existed, you know, and pretzel sticks are basically bread. So I'm saying popcorn.
And it's a new world food. So
yeah, because I think that corn existed. I'm thinking that possibly, you know, that possibly was there. You know, and of the foods, I would tend to think of those 4. Popcorn is eaten the most on Thanksgiving because if you're watching the football games, I think popcorn. So I just wanted the popcorn because it seemed like that was the most.
Chips and salsa probably gets eaten a lot if you're watching the football.
Yes. We'll be bringing that, you know, as we're responsible for appetizers and wine, but it's not a big group that we're going to. It's just like,
Yeah.
immediate family. So anything, my mother-in-law's like, don't go out of your way to do anything, just get something. It's not like make something. It's just, I mentioned to my wife, oh, I don't know, what about like California roll? The sushi that's not really sushi. She's like, nah, why would you do that?
I don't eat sushi. Don't like it. Everybody in the house eats. I have a shellfish allergy, but I know you can get vegetarian sushi. I've tried it probably three different times. It's just not my thing.
All right. So how do we want to wrap this up other than thanking Jackie so much for coming on and
thank you
giving us the background on Jonathan's development, her athletic background. So if we look up North Texas, Mean Green,
you won't find me. It's before the days of internet. My maiden name was Woodard, but you're not going to find me because they don't have any of that stuff in which Medusa.
I don't know. They might. They might have like a typed up roster of something and things like that. Because
I'd be surprised. I used to work for the UNT system. I'd be surprised if they have any of that out there.
And it was way back in '84, 84 to '88. And
Mark, I don't know, Mark, do you know who I actually knew that just got inducted into the College Basketball Hall of Fame?
Who are you going with on this? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
College basketball. Oh, Maryland. So
where'd I go to school? I have all my Maryland stuff here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who got in there because I knew it was coming, but I missed the announcement. Out with it. I'm drawing a blank.
Len Bias.
I wouldn't have guessed that. I get it, but I wouldn't have guessed that.
Come on, yeah, Lenny, yeah, absolutely. So I have this thing. My kids know, and some other people know it. If you're ever in one of those situations that's like an icebreaker, tell something about yourself. I'm sure you've been in those situations. Tell something about yourself, and then we around the room have to guess. Like write down on a piece of paper, and then someone's gonna say, what it is. Like I work with one guy who was born in Hawaii because it was a military family. If someone goes, I was born in Hawaii, or you're looking for the Polynesian dude around the room. No. It's like, well, who was born in Hawaii? Me. You were born in Hawaii? Yeah, military family, something like that. So one of those things. So mine is always, I beat an NBA first round pick in a one-on-one game.
Shut up. Were y'all playing horse?
See, she picked up on that. What word didn't I say? What didn't I say?
What word didn't you say?
What word didn't I say?
You didn't.
It was a one-on-one game. You didn't say it was basketball.
So right. I didn't say it was basketball.
Beat him with checkers or something.
Huh? It was pool.
There you go.
It was pool. I can tell you the story. Well, when we, I'll tell you after we end because it's a really long story. If you hang out for a little bit, I can.
And we've totally blown through our prior record of longest episode by 30 minutes.
It's well worth it. How often do you get such a great special guest?
The longest time was 30 minutes.
No, we've blown the record by 30 minutes. Our first episode was an hour 30.
Nah, well, I knew this was going to go long. We had a lot to talk about, and Jackie's a phenomenal guest with really interesting insights and a nice athletic background. Mark has an interesting athletic background as far as coaching and stuff.
I don't know. Mark's going to tell us he sings opera. He does announcements at games. Yeah. And now he's coaching some soccer. You were doing umpiring. Weren't you doing umpiring of the baseball stuff?
Yeah, I just coach baseball. Yeah, so Len Bias. So Lenny just went into the College Basketball Hall of Fame.
Good for him.
So we knew lots of the players on the team. There was a interesting story how we knew the players on the team and how they felt comfortable hanging out in our fraternity house. Knowing that whatever they did in the fraternity house never would see the light of day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is before the internet and stuff. So we saw things and that never got out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things that, yeah, I mean, not anything totally outlandish, but things that would have gotten them in trouble.
Sure.
That we saw, So we had a pool table in the house, played pool. We also had cable. So one time I came back from class, and a guy who had a room at like the top of the stairs. It was like a desirable room in the fraternity house to have. He's playing the Eddie Murphy special, the legendary Eddie Murphy special, where he's wearing the leather outfit. Delirious. So he's playing Delirious. So, and I noticed there's like I walk past, go, boy, a lot of people. The door's open. Says, what's going on? What's happening? Why are people crowded around there? And I said, Larry's playing Delirious and Lenny's in there. I'm like, what? So because he had HBO, they were playing the Eddie Murphy Delirious special. And then, of course, everyone's, sort of, sneaking, while watching it, while Len is watching it and just loving it. So that was interesting. All right.
Yeah, no.
Let's wrap this up. For those of you who stayed for the full 2 hours, you have our eternal gratitude. Thanks so much for it. It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much to Jackie. Thanks so much.
Can you actually see people on it?
No, we have no idea who's watching right now.
We don't. No one's watching when this is
being recorded. No,
it's being recorded. I actually have the ability to see how many views there are. We have the stats we can see. I don't know if I can tell who, nor am I that interested in who.
Yeah.
We know how many people are listening. I think you have to pay extra money to figure out who. And for those of you who are listening, I'm not going to do that. Thank you very much for listening. I'm not going to figure out who it is. All right. So let's wrap this up. Everybody have a very happy Thanksgiving. And thank you so much. And let's hope the next time we do this that we have another 3 points in the bag. And
one step closer.
Yeah, that we're out of the relegation zone. All right. So thanks so much to Mark and Jackie. And for all the AmeriCanaries out there, have a very happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
All right.